Righto, hello everybody and welcome to our Sound Skills 2 course info session. We field so many inquiries about this course, it really has gone gangbusters, and we just want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into when you sign up for Sound Skills 2.
Yep.
First up, for those people that don't really know who we are, let me just do a very quick slide presentation for you before we get into talking to our students and take questions from people here that have signed up for this webinar. First of all, who are we? We are, Ryan's been a charter operator for 30 years. He worked on the mackerel boats commercially as a young fellow, then worked on the marlin boats, then reef fish, did plenty of reef fish stuff. That's how he discovered wonky holes, and now he's pretty much more well known for his barra work. Big barramundi, over 2,000 barra for charter clients over a metre, and now thousands of our students have caught barra over a metre. It's really exciting. I'm a marine biologist. My job is to get the information out of Ryan's brain and put it into a easy to learn course. So I got 2 university degrees, first class honours, and I was a student forever. So I know how to learn. So we're the founders of Fish Smarter online courses. Our first online course was the first one in the world that we know of, Barra Basics, back in 2014. We've got now currently over probably a bit more than 5,000 students in all our courses. Thousands of fish caught with skill instead of luck. In fact, one of our Barra Basics students has caught over 100 and something meteries, and he's not even out of high school yet. So
130 last time we heard from him.
Amazing. So what is Sounder Skills 2? Sounder Skills 2 came about after our first course, Barra Basics. Some of our students were struggling, and we couldn't understand why some guys hit the ground running and some guys didn't. So we realised it was their sounder skills. So we did an on-water demo for a couple of students that were struggling, and realised that Ryan explaining how to set up their unit, what was on the screen in real time, describing as we drove around the estuary, made all the difference. So we also thought this is a fantastic way to teach people, but we're like, well, it's too hard to cover in one session. So we decided to film it, and thankfully, due to Garmin's ability to screen capture, what we do is I film Ryan, and as we're driving, and the screen captures what's going on, and they have become Sounder Skills 2 and our demo videos in there. So it took 2 years to create Sounder Skills 2 because of so many variables, and it's gone gangbusters because 30 years on the water experience with all that. All the different scenarios that
it's all the practical side of things. We don't teach you how many diodes are in the back end of the unit. It's all about practicality and how to use them and how to read them and understand frequencies, beam angle, interactions, on and on and on and on.
So that's the kind of information that you're going to get. You don't find this stuff on YouTube. What's the difference between Sounder Skills 1 versus Sounder Skills 2? Lots of people ask us that. Sounder Skills was a quick sort of course really we made just initially to address people's main issues, what we see them doing wrong with boat speed, scroll speed, range, and the interplay between them, which is why most people don't see fish. Sounder Skills 2, however, is 30 years of Ryan's trial and error. It covers 2D, it covers side scan, it covers how to drive the boat, down scan, what to use when. Anything you want to know is there. And if you have only got an old sounder and only 2D, how to drive the boat to assess areas is so important. How to make sure you know what's on the bottom. So we do concept videos, which are us talking to explain the concepts. Then we have demo videos where Ryan narrates what he sees. And as always in our courses, we have a 1-page flow chart which ties it all together. So that's what you use as you go through the course, because this stuff is really confusing. It took 2 years to make this course because we just couldn't work out how to pull it together in an easy, step-by-step, easy to understand way. But I had an epiphany in the shower. And
did you?
Yeah, I did. And then we got it down on 1 page, and then it was like, right. So it is practical, useful, step-by-step instructions that will get you onto more fish faster. Righto guys, that's just a little bit of the end of the background for you. Oh, one more question we get asked a bit is it on a DVD? And the answer to that's no, it's online. You get a username and password. We update stuff in there all the time. We also have Inner Circle, which is much more interactive. So if you're part of Inner Circle, you can ask questions and get answers and that kind of thing. So a DVD is a one purchase, that's it, stuck. Whereas with the online courses, you can
get to review our updates and everything like that, and the new stuff that we add.
And review the course too, because as your skill set improves, you pick up different stuff when you go back and review it.
And you've always got a secure place to go and review it.
Exactly.
You're not going to lose your DVD.
No.
Or scratch it.
Exactly right. So let's take some questions now, shall we?
So one of the big ones we get is, I've been using sounders for years. Will I learn anything? Why do I need to do it? Chris Ballard, you there? Would you like to answer that one for us?
Yeah, how you going, guys?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Yeah, that's a good one. I was one of those guys that was using sounders and have been using sounders for years. Thought I had my head around it, and then I started using side scan, and thought I had my head around that as well, but I wasn't even close. It wasn't until I did the course that I understood how to get a much better picture to understand that there was actually fish down there, and I wasn't looking at rocks or weed or sticks or anything like that. And then yeah, I'm at the point now where you can pretty much, within reason, pick what sort of fish are down there, and almost to the size. Well, I'm not that good, but a rough guesstimate of what sort of size fish you're looking at. So it was massive for me. It's made a huge difference to how I fish and the fish that I catch as well.
For someone who has been using a sounder for years, like you, what was your sounder, Chris, before you started?
I'd mainly used Lowrance sounders before, the HDS 7s. In the end, I had a 6 metre Haynes signature as well that used them outside around the islands and stuff. I've now moved on to a Garmin. I just felt that the Garmin was a little bit better value for money. You got a few more features for the dollar, and then now moved on to the UHD to give me that better picture in the shallower water on the dams and in the creeks as well. So I was shocked how much I didn't know. There's 7 hours of tutorials in there, and there's a whole range of information. And I've only really touched the sides because I don't do the deeper water fishing anymore. It's all just the creek stuff. So yeah, I haven't delved into the deeper water stuff and understanding fish on the bottom and different substrates of structures and all of that sort of stuff that I wouldn't have even known before. It was all just bottom to me, and you might have picked up a few fish here and there, but yeah, I can't wait to get into some of that stuff where I'm fishing outside and pinning a few out there.
Yeah, we'll talk to a couple of our students that do fish outside in a minute. So lots of people think because Ryan uses Garmin now that it's only about Garmin, but he has used Humminbird, he's used Bruno.
All except Lowrance.
Except Lowrance. So BJ, you've got a Lowrance. Did it help? BJ's another one of our students.
Yeah, you got me there, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, no, I started out with Lowrance and still have Lowrance. Looking to upgrade now, but I think, the course is based around all of the different functionalities in modern day sounders, from your 2D transducers all the way up to your structure scan. So I think it's versatile. You can use it across the board. Doesn't matter what sounder you have. I've been able to interpret it all and use stuff on mine. Obviously, there's some things in there that Ryan talks about which is not compatible with the Lowrance, like the scroll speed and stuff like that. But I've been able to use that on a mate's Humminbird and show him a few things as well. So I don't think it matters what brand sounder you have. The functionalities are the same. Your structure scan technology is the same. Just your frequencies are a little bit different, and the technology between brands is a little bit different. But I suppose the actual theory behind it all is all the same. So you can certainly use it across the board. It doesn't matter what brands of sounder you have, I think.
How did you find the course? Sorry.
Overly informative and too cheap, if I'm honest. I haven't finished it. I'm much the same as Chris. I haven't touched on a lot of the deep water stuff because we don't sort of have that here in Darwin, where all sort of the deepest water we would fish would be sort of 50 to 60 metres. So I haven't gone into that. I've skimmed through it a bit for assessing reef and spits and stuff like that. But I haven't gone into the all the transducer information and that sort of thing. So there is so much information in there, it's ridiculous. It certainly helped me in my structure scan fishing. Like Chris, I thought I had my head around it fairly well. How wrong was I? I can now, point out where fish are, locate them. Same as Chris, I can, get a fairly good idea of what size they are and what species they are. From the returns and obviously where they are in position to the boat, within a ballpark range, I suppose. I'm still not the best at it, but practice makes perfect, I suppose.
Because that's the big thing with him. You go fishing with him and it's like there's one there, and I first fished with him years ago, and we were bait fishing because it was winter, and I threw the prawn in.
She was actually a charter client once.
Yeah. And he goes, no, about half a metre further that way, love. And I'm thinking half a metre further, and he'd already said, this one's there and that one's there, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, whatever. And sure enough, half a metre further, bang, we were on, and we measured it 1 and 2, and I'm just like, oh my God. And I thought that it would be great as a marine biologist to just hire him to go running up and down the river, and because we wouldn't have to kill anything then, we wouldn't have to catch it, we'd know what species it was, how big it was. And that was before side scan. That was when we used to still do circles. Yeah. So we don't have to do circles anymore. Now we can just, it's great. We get to places so much faster because you used to go, every time you see the little bump, we've got to stop and go round and round and round and round. Now we just go one pass and you can see everything and, oh yeah, whether we're stopping or not. So thank God. Yeah,
definitely. Well, I had a similar experience recently fishing with a mate with a hummingbird, and we could see a very large school of barra, and we were fishing. I'm at the front of the boat and he was at the console, and he's like, they're right there, they're 7 metres from the boat. Cast. And I'm like, we haven't even turned to scale. It's not an overly heavily fished area. There's something not right. I've gone back and looked at the sounder, and I've said to him, I said, mate, they're not 7 metres from the boat. They're a metre from the boat and 6 metres down. They're right on the bottom. We can vertical jig them. And he clicked on the fish and saw that it was 6 metres from the boat and automatically thought that was right across. But with the difference in the shadows they were throwing, I could tell they were hugging the bottom hard. And, they were basically right under us. We changed tactics, and I got one bump, but we just couldn't get him to bite. But he wasn't convinced, and it took me to the point where I said, well, go over and go to where you think they are and let's fish on top of them. And he went in where he thought they were, and they were now on the left-hand side of the boat. So it showed that what I'd picked up in the course was definitely useful, and that he probably needs to do the course.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, because we see them pull up over, big schools of fish, and then we think, and then they motor off, and we're like, righto.
It's happened a few times, isn't it?
It's happened a few times. What we might do is ask Nick about deep water, because we've spoken a little bit about barra, because a lot of the people that are our students have done barra, but the course is not about barra. It will apply to any fishing you do anywhere. Like I said, up to 300 metres of water we've got, and we actually filmed some more in 1 kilometre of water. But that'll be a little way away, and I don't know if that's going to go in a circle or not.
Not too many people fish in 1 kilometre of water, but we had to cover that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. So Nick Philippo, you do a bit more fishing, not barra fishing, offshore. How did you find the course?
I agree with BJ, if you can hear me okay. I don't think the sounders matter. I first started off with side imaging with a little Humminbird 798, and I was finding stuff by myself. I got the opportunity to fish with Ryan and Karen many years ago as part of the wonky holes. I guess the genesis of that course is coming up. I had probably about 100-ish wonkies myself, I guess, and I still learned heaps of stuff from Ryan that day. A couple of really key things that really sunk home. In terms of offshore, The finger mark course, I reviewed a couple of Ryan's courses for fishing magazines when I was back and really keen before I had kids and a kid. And in terms of the finger mark course, that was an eye-opener in terms of what structure you're looking for and the reason why you're catching fish in the locations. So I found those really big take-home messages. Like, I had some good finger mark spots, but I hadn't really put the pieces together as to why they were good, reliable spots. And certainly it's an eye-opener, and those courses I thought Sounder Skills is fantastic. I use some of it, not all, definitely not all of it, and it just shows, I think Ryan's got 35 odd years on the water as a pro, and that's just something you can't take away in a few weekends that we do here and there, and days off and RDOs and that sort of thing, out fishing as much as we can. So it shows, I thought the course is great. There's definitely, it's in depth. There's nothing that compares that I've seen. And it really gets you thinking about even the offshore 60 to 70 metre stuff I think BJ was talking about, which I love. I love the deep offshore stuff. I haven't done a heap of the deep dropping, but I know guys out of Cairns are doing pretty well to about 180 metres on Nanagai, which I found really interesting, the largemouth. So we always thought they were a shallower species than that. But apparently they're not. And then down south where I live now, there's flame snapper and there's a barcode and all those sorts of things, which are a lot of fun. But I just found it really interesting that even when you're deep water fishing now and you're looking at, you're paying a lot more attention to your sounder. Ryan doesn't look away from it a lot, and I could see why. And you're really kind of, I think, understanding now why the fish are there, and you're looking for similar structure at different locations. It starts ringing bells, and you'll definitely find the same species in the same locations. Across spots you've had, and you really start to, I guess, kind of mind map the fishing a lot more. So BJ and the guy before him were talking about it loosely. You can work out the size and you can jig on them, and you can see if there's bait there and there's no fish holding the bottom, and things that you thought were rocks before on your traditional 2D view. After looking at the course, you can determine they're fish because there's several things that Ryan points out and go, okay, they're not rocks, they're fish, so you can fish those and do well. So yeah, that was really good. Change your day. Go to cash converters if you need to. Sell the family second car. Get yourself a side image if you're serious about fishing, and it just pays dividends. You can't go back.
Yeah, and if you do only have a 2D and you really can't afford to upgrade, or you don't want to sell your kids or whatever, you spent part of your career with the 2D sounder, and that is the ledgers examination that he teaches how to do it in Sounder Skills too. So it is part of assessment, especially in deeper water. So even if you don't have a side stand, and if you haven't got a unit yet, do Sounder Skills 2 before you buy a unit, because you will learn what you need to buy, not what brand, but what specifications it needs to have for your kind of fishing.
I see so many comments on sounder sites and that where people have posted something and here they are with a deep water transducer or side imager transducer, and they're trying to use it in the shallows, and it's very grainy and a lot, and they wonder why. It's simply because they've been sold the wrong transducer, and that's one of the most important things. You've got to understand frequency, what it does, how the different depths react with it, and all that sort of thing. And also, getting back to the 2D, also that, fish can disappear in 2D in so many different ways, whether it's bait, pinnacles. We're going within the course of course, and there's just so many ways that fish can actually vanish or be disguised in amongst the background, and we cover all that sort of thing as well.
Yeah. So, Westo, actually, we have actually just started selling sounders because of so much misinformation and people going to the course and they say, just got this whiz-bang sounder, and we're like, wrong one.
That's it.
So we've just started selling sounders. So if you're thinking about that, Westo is actually the man who's our sounder guru. Will this course improve your fishing? Westo, you've done a lot of fishing.
Yeah, done a little bit here and there. No, absolutely. I mean, I suppose if you, to put it simply, I mean, 30 years of experience, as you said, Karen, where a man's, learnt from taking bearings from a radar, from paper to black and white 2D to colour 2D to, side scanning technology, live scope. I mean, essentially, there's not much that the man hasn't done and hasn't seen through the progression of well, the quite quick progression of sonar over the last, 20 years, but in particular the last sort of 5 to 7 years. And it's just all piled into a big, massive ball of information inside a course, which I think is well and truly underpriced for the amount of information you get. But that's typically the sort of people that Ryan and Karen are. They want people to learn. They want people to understand what they're looking at, and essentially go out and shorten the time frame in which people usually take to get on the water and catch fish. And it's laid out for you in simple terms. It's easy to follow, and then you have the opportunity to be a part of the inner circle where you have 100% access to Ryan, some of Ryan's ambassadors, and people who do have very, very good past knowledge, which has only been solidified through doing the course more so. And, it's just invaluable, basically, the whole package as a whole. And I think you'd be mad if you didn't take advantage of it.
Now, what I'm going to try and do, actually, talking about inner circle, is if I can get rid of this off my screen.
Yep. The other really thing that you touched on before, Karen, was, today we did that blog, so a bit of an influx of people, which I had the pleasure of being able to communicate with today. And one of the guys actually said to me, I've got an old Raymarine Dragonfly, which has down view and traditional sonar. Should I do the course first or save to buy the sonar, the new sounder first? And I said, mate, and he was sort of more leaning towards buying the new sounder first and then doing the course. I said, mate, the amount of stuff that you'll learn whilst doing the course, while saving for the new unit with side view or side scan or image, whatever brand you chooses, will stand you in good stead for once you get to that side imaging thing. And it probably more so would help because you're not bombarded with a massive amount of information. You're sort of doing it in small segments. So definitely, like Karen said, I completely back up the fact that it's probably a positive thing to do the course prior to going out and spending the money on fantastic units.
Because you might not even need an upgrade if you're not driving a unit, to the best of its ability. I mean, Ryan caught plenty of fish before he had a whiz-bang unit, back in the day. So
all the new technology has basically done over 2D, has solidified the information, and I like to run, and as all students would know that I like to run the 3 functions at once. We have the split screens all set up so that the side image is telling you what's happening to the left and right, whereas 2D and down imaging can't do that. But it shows you a different picture then, because then on down imaging you can get to see what species it is if it's the shallows, whereas you can't really tell that so much on side image. You can with some bigger species like bar and that, but up to a certain depth of water, But running all 3 functions at once is very handy as well, because it basically tells the whole picture and it allows you to make decisions a lot quicker as well.
So just before we take questions from everyone else, that's given you a bit of a background. This is Inner Circle, which is an add-on. We made the course cheaper. Pictures and videos, photos. Lots of people put screen. Screen.
Scroll feed showing people what it's really like.
Oh, okay. I was just going to play one of your videos that you made recently. He adds videos every now and again.
Yeah, some of the videos we reiterate topics we've touched on in the course, and some of it's all new stuff.
Okay.
And
so that's just one of the Inner Circle videos, but the actual course, so Inner Circle's an add-on. The actual course, once you log into your dashboard, just to give you a bit of background, log into your dashboard. You just move that out of the way, so you can see. So you would go into Sound Skills 2. It's just a bit slow because we're doing a screen share with this webinar.
Yeah, and
Actually, Cable has actually surprisingly good internet. They've just told me, I don't know, some upgrade. I thought it was slow, but anyway. Yeah, so concept videos, we have the concept videos, which are PowerPoint presentations which give you all the concepts. Then we have the actual demo videos, which we take you out in the field with Ryan. If you've seen our big picture free video, it's just got a few snippets, so you sort of have an understanding. So what happens when you turn side image in 2D, shallow water assessment comparisons with down image in 2D, so you know which one to use when. So we go into the concepts, then we have the demo videos, frequency comparisons with side image, so it really gives you a good conception of what is the difference, and so you learn that better than if we just speak to you, so we demonstrate that to you.
And that's also teaching you what unit you should buy to suit your style of fishing.
Yeah. Then shallow water setup with down view, side image and 2D, then your deep water setup, because it's different. We do have the transducer issues one down here. Assessing a creek. So for example, let's go in there. It's going to open for me. Oh, honey bunny, what have you got to say? Oh, I've got to move this thing out the way. Sorry. So this is an example of our demo videos. I'm just trying, there we go. So that's Ryan talking you through the different scenarios, and we do that in shallow water and deep water. Then fishing on the fish is all about how to get your boat in the right spot and how to be using, you know, to actual fish on the fish, because people do get a bit confused. That's why sometimes we can pull up somewhere, someone can pull up next to you, they can be using the same lure, but and other people don't. It's because you've got to be actually fishing on the fish. Now, hang on, just trying to get rid of that background noise. And then, oh, we've got the inner circle. So these are all the stuff which is in a circle, we add to it all the time, but that is an add-on to the cost of the course. So that's a bit of background. What I might do now is maybe take some questions. Because we've got so many people, well, if you have a question, would you mind writing your name in the chat area and we'll call you? I think that's going to be the best way to do this, because otherwise everyone's going to speak at once.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
a lot of questions probably about how the course runs has probably already been answered, but
yeah.
in case anyone's got extra questions, and so everybody knows too, it's you get the course for the life of the course, so you can come and go as much as you plan and watch it several times. Most people have to watch it several times because it's information overload. You're just not going to pick it up in one session. So you can always get back in there, log back in at your own leisure anytime you want to review things and go over things again, because yeah, there's just too much to take in at once.
Sharon, you've got a question?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Oh, yep. We can, yeah.
So I'm here tonight. My husband's actually at work, so I'm here filling in for him. He's the driver. I'm apparently the tech guru. So
good on you.
Just a quick question. We live 4 hours away from most water sources. Do you guys have cheat sheets that are available in Skills too that you can use in the boat, so that if you don't have service, that type of thing, that we can use, just as you don't remember stuff after you've read it, so I don't retain it as much as I probably should. Do you guys have cheat sheets that we can print out and keep in the boat?
We do have it's on video, so you don't have to read anything. We do have, the course is actually structured around a one-page flowchart which tells you what to do when, whether you're in shallow water, deep water, whether you're in a mode
or certain mode.
So the whole entire course is structured around, I'm just trying to mute that. Sorry, Eric, I've just got to mute you because there's a lot of background noise coming through your thing. Yeah, so the one-page flowchart is exactly what to use when, and But other than that, cheat sheets not
As long as you're in range, as long as you've got internet, you can actually just log in on your phone or a tablet out in the boat, and yeah, see it all happening there in front of you.
Yeah, but if you, we actually are doing an upgrade on our site, and we're trying to get notes. It's conflicting with some of our other bits and pieces. Honestly, put a man on the moon 50 years ago, but trying to
the
do
technology we deal with now.
So the plan is to have a note section where you can, you know, jot stuff down to remember. But the other alternative is just to maybe take notes when you do the video, because there'll be some stuff in there. You just watch the course from start to finish, then you will know which bits are mostly applied to you. So it is very well sort of explained.
Yeah, and if you're going away, so you're going away somewhere and you're doing, say, barramundi fishing in the Northern Territory, and you live down south, well, you'd look at all the shallow water aspects and go through all that kind of thing, and just, you know, go run through it a few times before you go. And even when you get up to the Darwin, when you're at the motel or whatever, and you get internet reception, just before you go out in the boat, just review the shallow water part and everything to do with shallow water. And that way, you know, once you get on the water, you'll understand what you're doing, what you're using, what frequency you're using. Are you going to use side imaging to find these things, or are you going to, what are you going to assess it with, all this sort of thing. So, and I know how to tune it, all those sort of different scenarios. So yeah, it's basically, as long as you've got internet, you can, yeah, give it good research before you go.
Did that answer your question, Sharon?
Yeah, it does. Thanks. When you say shallow, Ryan, what depths are you talking about?
Well, the course does pretty much everything, but a lot of the higher frequency kind of thing is, you know, in that 15 meters, up to 15 to 20 meters is kind of what, well, I suppose 15 meters is what we class as the deepest part of shallow, I guess. And then you start moving out into medium depths, and then you get the deeper offshore depths. But yeah, up to around 10 to 15 meters is a lot of the higher frequency stuff, and that'll have a lot to do with your barra fishing and that kind of thing.
Excellent, thanks.
Might not be barra fishing.
Oh,
do you do barra fishing? Whereabouts do you live, Sharon?
We're actually going up to Rockhampton in the Fitzroy in a couple of weeks, so that'll be perfect.
Cool. Actually, one of our students, Steve, he's one of our threadfin students. He's just done barra basics, and his first trip to the Fitzroy last week.
From Brisbane,
he got a 128, 122, a 120, a 101, and another big one too, I think. Yeah, in 2 days.
But he's done barra basics. He's done barra basics, so that actually shows you where to go. Yeah. Sound skills won't show you where to go to catch barra, but it will show you.
It'll teach you how to look
for them.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Eric has asked you to give advice on the best transducer for your type of fishing.
Certainly do, mate. That's what this is all about.
Pretty much the whole course is about.
Yes, yes.
What transducer, what frequency, what different mode you should be using, so that you can accurately get a picture in your head what's actually on the bottom. Because sounders can lie to you if they're not set up properly. Sounders can lie to you if you're not tuned in to what exactly it's telling you. So that's pretty much what we're teaching, so that you know exactly what's underneath you, where it is. Yeah, this is the stuff that's not on YouTube, because most people.
Hey, while we're talking about YouTube, this is where a lot of people go wrong, because a lot of people watch YouTube to learn stuff about depth sounders. And let me tell you, a lot of stuff on there is rubbish.
Yeah, and we argue too about, because I get on there, and when we were on course, and I get on there and he says something, and I'm like, no, it's not. And then we'll go out in the boat and we'll go, look, I'll prove it to you, and we'll do this sort of maneuver or whatever, and it's like, logically, yeah, he's right. So we just got divorced over sound skills too, because it's really a really complicated topics, because all the different things have different frequencies, all the different things, and you got to use them at different times. It was doing my head in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to put it in a table. Every time I spoke to him, I'm like, what do you use? When do you swap over? Couldn't get my head around it. And then I had an epiphany in the shower. And once we got the one page and we set that out, then we made the course around it. And that's what all our courses have. They have the one page, the whole course is made around it so that it is step by step. It's much easier to understand because otherwise they confuse the hell out of me. And yeah, he knows what he's going on about, but yeah, confuse the hell out of me. So do you go into finding ground out on the reef or in a new location? Sam, do you want to actually, do you want to actually ask the question, Sam? Do you want to, should we unmute you? Can we unmute Sam? Where are you? Sam. Alcohol. Yeah. You want to chat with us, Sam? Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Got you, mate. Yeah, mate. Yeah,
Hey, how you going?
Good, mate.
Yeah, just want to know, like, you go into finding sort of new locations on the reef or sort of searching for locations?
Yes, mate, we certainly cover that. That's another one of the big topics. And we show some of the small indiscriminate things that people drive over, thinking there's no fish there, all because of the way a 2D beam works. But and we just show people a little bit about what to look for, because fish can hide in amongst bait schools. They can disappear in amongst certain types of structure on the bottom and things like that. And also they can simply hide in the 2D cone, especially with wider beam angles. And we tell people why and exactly why in the course. So sometimes you might only see something that looks very indiscriminate and you'll just drive over it, disappear, but you turn around and fish on it and it's a different story. So I don't know, have you ever gone out there and haven't found much during the day and sort of saw something that, you know, you thought there might have been one or two there, but you pulled up and all of a sudden you caught 7 or 8 nice fish. They're the sort of things I've heard people say that a bit, you know, that, oh, we didn't really see much, but we pulled up and we caught all these fish. And they still don't know why though. That's the thing. And then we teach you why. So yeah, mate, we cover how to find your ground out on the reef and all that. Teach you all about the frequencies, the side imaging frequency you should be using out there and all that kind of thing.
How to assess whether it's worth fishing on.
Yeah.
He never takes his eye off the sounder. Even in the game boat, he's running up and down the stairs. Well, we've got the iPad now. We put the iPad down and the network in. Whenever he's fishing, he never takes his eye off the sounder. And I sometimes say I could get naked and he wouldn't even notice because he just is constantly looking at it, aren't you? Yeah. And even, it's funny when we go trekking and we'll be sitting there and he's got to go and do an engine check or make lunch or something. He'll go downstairs, keep an eye on it, you know, mark it. And of course he's gone 2 minutes, I'm like bored as, start playing on my phone. He'll go upstairs, what's that? I'm sorry, Mark.
Should we tell everyone about our shipwreck story?
No. So, yeah, we find shipwreck.
We find shipwrecks.
But anyway, so does that answer your question, Sam?
Yes, awesome. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. Pam.
See ya.
See ya.
See you, mate.
Pam. Oh, Everett's there. Everett's. Oh, Everett, I'll get you in a second. Pam, did you want to ask that? Did you want to actually chat with Ryan, or do you just want us to read out your question? Yeah, I'll mute you. That's not working.
Pam's question is just trying to clarify shallow water. You were talking 15 metres plus. What about in 2 or 6 metres like in estuaries? Yes, we do every range of, actually a lot of it is up to that sort of 6 to 8 metres of water in the estuaries. We do a lot of that kind of thing.
But even looking up into the mangroves, like we even, you know, you show them with side scan how to look up into the, you know.
We show you how to look up into really shallow water and that sort of thing just by using your side imager. Side image is predominantly a search tool, but once you get used to it after a while and you know what you're doing, you can actually use it as an assessment tool as well.
Yeah, in the shallows you can.
So we do cover that very shallow water as well. Yeah, we cover everything pretty much.
Everything.
So thank you.
Sorry, darling.
Yeah, thank you for that.
No worries.
No worries. Did you have any other questions while we got you?
No, I don't think so. No, not at the moment.
Too easy.
I might, well, Everett's quickly here. Everett, Will it improve your fishing? Sound skills too. Tell us. Did it help you?
Hi guys, yeah. The thing that for me was I got greater detail over a much larger area straight away. Sorry guys.
No, you're all
Okay,
right.
yeah. So understanding that what Chirp does for you as well, how you can read a lot more information. You can look at fish that are hugging the bottom. If you've only got traditional 2D, yeah, you're a bit limited with what you got there, but you can open your eyes out when you're side scanning and you're down imaging, and you can read all that information about what fish are out there.
Definitely.
And you've got an older unit, haven't you? Or you started off with an older unit, a Lawrence?
Yeah, I've got an old unit. I'm going to upgrade, but I'm using what I've got, and I'm able to still sort of read the fisheries. I do a lot of shallow water for barra, and sometimes punch out to the reefs. But I want to get a good Garmin unit. I can look down and get out to the wonky holes as well.
They're really, you love your Garmins.
Yeah, that's why I'm affiliated with Garmin now. It's just the way they're leaping forward with their technology and everything like that, and the reliability of the units. They're right up there with Furuno as far as reliability goes.
And LiveScope.
And LiveScope, no other brand's got it.
Can't get enough.
And you just can't get enough of that. That's just real time. It's just like an underwater camera, except you can see through muddy water.
Yeah.
And you learn so much about the fish through LiveScope. You can watch them follow different lures, different retrieves. You can see everything that's going on. You can wait for the bite on your lure and everything. So, and you know when you got one following you, so you know, just don't wind it in at the last minute and chuck it out again. If he's following you all the way to the boat, you keep retrieving them and just wait for the bite.
We went fishing with Westo. We had Gracie, was just a puppy, and it was freezing cold, and they had all their little coats on, and these two were in Westo's boat. He just got LiveScope, and they're around the snag, and they're watching the barra following it, and they're just so engrossed and obsessed. And the boat drifted over next to them, and Gracie jumped off in the mud. She got completely covered. It was just totally transfixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot better than just having 2 little grains of rice, isn't it? Like you see little grains of rice and you're trying to pick them out in a Lowrance and, you know, trying to figure out a whole lot of information around that. But when you go to the next level, as you're talking about, it makes it a lot more interesting as well.
Exactly.
But we do cover, if you've got old units, we do cover all that. We show you how he used to do it back in the day before
all the technology changed.
Before, yeah, we got underwater TV pretty much. So thank you, Emmett, and thank you actually to all our students that have come along tonight. We really, really appreciate your time coming along to help, you know, to chat to people, because you don't just take our word for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, what have we got? I might just jump down to Paul.
Before I go, Karen, can I give a plug? With anyone who's in Darwin, we're having a get-together. BJ's place, we're going to look at, he's got a friend, and we're going to go and hand feed some big meter plus barra and get together and network with a lot of the guys up here and just talk about what's working and what's not, and catch up. So that'll be happening at the end of the month.
That's an awesome day. We went out and done it last time with BJ and Everett out at Andrew's place, and it was awesome having big meter plus barra come up and pluck mullet out of your fingers.
And that's what happens when you do our courses. Hey, we become friends because we catch up with people and we go fishing with them when we go traveling, and it's been amazing how it's all just grown up around us.
Thanks,
mate. Thank you, Everett. I know you had things to do tonight.
Right, thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See ya.
Do you want to just talk to us, Paul? You put something in the chat. Would you like to ask Ryan directly rather than read it out?
Hello, Ryan. Karen, yeah, I'm Paul. As you can see, I'm in Cairns. I've just got a couple of two boys that are very keen on fishing. I'm quite keen as well, but I'm very unsuccessful. We basically, we've just got a little 12-foot pond, so we spend most of the time in the Cairns Inlet. And every September holidays we get up to the Cape and try and catch some barra, or the idea with the small punt is to maybe get out to some of the little inshore reefs or something, and try to get out to Bathurst Bay this year. So I did the Sounders 1 course. I found that quite enlightening. obviously just with a traditional sounder I've got, it's quite limited, and I understand that. But just wondering, is it worth me going to the Sounder 2 course just with the gear I've got?
Mate, I'd probably say yes, simply because you'll just learn so much about sonar and all the on the water aspects. That's what it's all about. It's all about the practical side of it. And yeah, mate, even if you've only got 2D, it'll teach you the little tricks with 2D. Yeah, and the things you could be missing out on 2D and how to recognise some of those situations. So you can actually fish on some things that don't look that good, but you'll find there'll be fish on them when you pull up and fish. So yeah, mate, there's definitely, even if you've only got 2D, that's like we said before, we cater for everybody. Even though there's still a lot in the course that covers everything else that you might not use that now, but you might find as your boys get a bit older and you know, you might buy a little bit bigger boat and get a bit more keener, and you know, you might want to start learning about side imaging and down imaging and live scope and all these sort of things. So you've always got the course there to fall back on, mate, and cover all that stuff as well. So Sounder Skills 1, that's based around the one you've already done. That was based around the most common question that you used to get asked, and that was simply, I can't see fish on my sounder, why not? And that's just, you know, the fundamentals. And even though they're fundamentals that 99% of fishermen don't really get. And, you know, scroll speed, scale, and boat speed and things like that, and how current and wind can interact with your boat speed and how things change shape and everything like that. So, and to see fish better, because some people were doing it so wrong, the biggest object wouldn't even show up.
And what to keep consistent to make the fish size consistent, so you can identify what's a big fish if you want to catch a big fish, or what's a little fish, because if you want to catch a big fish, you've got to know what they look like.
Yeah. And bait schools.
Yeah,
Yes,
boys won't want to come with me anymore.
Sorry, mate, what was that?
I've got to start catching a few more fish, otherwise the boys won't want to come with me anymore.
Well, you can always pass it down to them if they want to take the boat as they get a bit older.
Yeah.
They can always watch it. It's a family-orientated thing. Yeah, so
yeah, I think it'll help.
It'll definitely help you, mate.
Yeah,
yes.
And jumping sounder in the inner circle.
All right, thanks very much.
No worries.
Too easy, mate. Thank you.
Hi guys.
Hey, how's it going?
How you going?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, so I run for Uno.
You mate? Yeah.
And struggle with the tuning out in the deeper water.
Yes.
Is there anything in there for me?
Yes, mate. We covered a lot of deep water stuff in there. It's not brand specific. It's more or less function specific. And some brands, things are called different, like, you know, gain. You got brightness, sensitivity, gain. It's all different amongst different brands. So they're the only things you've got to allow for. What might be called on your brand, it might be different to what I say. But throughout the course, I do mention that it might be called this, or this here and there. So, but yeah, mate, it doesn't matter what brand it is. It'll help you. And with your, what sort of deep water are you talking about, mate?
60 to 120.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yep. And when you get out of that 120 or 100 plus, you know, when you've got such a big area showing up, depending on your beam angle as well, of course, but if you're using a wider beam angle out there, once you get to that 100 meters, most people, you know, you should be turning over to a lower frequency with a wide beam angle. Bring it such a massive area down there, where is the fish in that beam angle? Now, they might come through on the screen underneath you, but they might not be directly below you. They could be over to one side. Yeah, well, out in 400 meters, a lot of beam angles, you're actually covering the area of a football field. And we teach you how to pinpoint the school using 2D only. That'll be the most beneficial thing that you probably pick up if you're out over that 100-meter area. Yeah.
Yep.
And also, mate, we show you in the one day you might want to upgrade. We show you there is a transducer that Garmin makes where you can see in 100 meters of water, and you can still see 175 meters either deep water side imaging, which makes it a whole lot better trying to find different textures in the bottom, which might be a rubble or a bit of rock, or you can see bommies and that sort of thing. So yeah, there is, as far as side scanning goes, there are deep water and shallow water transducers. You just got to know which ones to use and all that kind of thing, and that's what will help you with there.
Yep, very good.
Easy, mate.
Thank you. Ta.
Chris.
Thank you.
Mark?
Mark? Oh, he doesn't have a mic.
Oh, okay.
So, do you feel that fish change their swim bladders at all depths, and is it a struggle to pick them up on the finders?
They do differ. We cover that as well. When fish are holding up, there's
and when they're turned at you too.
Yes.
Different
Fish
ways they're angled and what they show up like.
Yeah, we teach you things like, you know, certain species will face into the current a lot as well, and there's certain ways you sort of assess them to get the better reading, because if you assess them in the opposite direction, they'll show up a lot smaller and you might mistake them for a different species altogether. So we cover a lot of that stuff, mate, and yeah, we do talk a bit about the swim ladders and all that sort of thing too, yes.
Graham, I have a 2018 Raymarine Axiom Touch, should be wearing my glasses. Recently found out it doesn't have adjustable frequency ranges, but the new Raymarine does so. My question here is, does Sounder Skill 2 info help me with manually setting up my sounder for the different types of fishing?
Yep, it certainly does.
Yes.
It'll teach you what frequency you need to use where and what depth, and what function to use. Whether in deeper water, you might find that down imaging is not quite as successful as 2D, depending on the beam angle you've got with 2D. Can show things up a lot better in deeper water. So yeah, we teach you all different sorts of things like that. Yep.
I was going to just jump back to Chris Ballard, actually. Chris, are you still there?
Certainly am.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd jump back to you. Chris is one of our students for a bit of we're running out of questions that have been asked. Just as a bit of an overview. I don't know, you've listened to the webinar. Is there anything else you can think of that people might want to know about Sounder Skills? Putting you on the spot now.
I think a lot of it's been covered. A lot of it's been covered. The only thing I'd say is this course is worth every bit of. I know blokes that have got $5,000 sounders, and they think they know how to read that sounder, but they're not even close to them. So,
we see that on YouTube a lot.
What's the point of spending that much money if you don't know how to read what's down there or get the full potential out of your sounder? You might know some fish on down scan or something on side scan that you think might be a fish, so you're second guessing all the time. So once you have all this information, you can actually be confident that yes, that's fish, or even just bottom structures and everything else. So it's to me, this course is way underpriced for the value that you get out of it. Like there's 7 hours. Yeah, you're in a circle. You're in a circle also is worth the price of the admission as well. You know, like you've got some really clever blokes on there other than Ryan. Like Westo is all over it. Like he's and you get to ask these guys questions directly. So you're not just doing a course and then that's it and she's all over. You get to ask questions of Ryan, Westo, Ian up in Cardwell. There's some really good blokes that know their sounders really well. So that's gold to me.
And also these guys can also help people with things like, I mean, the course is mostly about practical side of things, how to use it, understand these things, but you know, people have trouble with networking with electric motors. Some brands network with certain electric motors and things like that. Because one of those brands I haven't used, so there's something I'm not familiar with. Whereas these other lads know that sort of thing. So yeah, they can help you out easily there.
And it's the correct information too, especially with the screen sharing and whatever. It's the stuff we watch on YouTube.
Can I just make one final comment, Gaz?
You're allowed.
You're allowed.
I can mute myself. I think in conclusion, I just want to sort of conclude for the guys. You don't just get a sounder course with this course. At the end of the day, some of the content that you receive, although it's in the field showing sounder stuff, the stuff about assessing a reef, assessing an estuary, and those types of things can open up a whole wonderful world of stuff for you to use the sounder you have to your advantage. So it's not just the technical jargon that may bore people to tears. It's practical, it's basic, it's simple, easy to follow, which makes it worth every single cent. So it's a sounder course on steroids, and they've proven time and time again. I get asked, how long do I have the course for? Is it worth it? At the end of the day, like Ryan said before, you have it for life, and these two people sitting in front of us are continuously and always updating for the benefit of their members. So they don't just sit on their laurels, on their hands, and see the dollars churn over. They're working hard behind the scenes in the boat and continuously upgrading and moving with the times. So whilst you're a member and you have access to it, you have access to these two guys diversifying and forever changing with what new units come out, what new technology. And yeah, that's basically it, I suppose. Last word.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
That
Appreciate
pretty
it.
much summed it up. And on that note, I think we'll go out with a bang.
We'll go with the bang.
So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you very much for our students for coming as well to give your time.
Chris, Everett, BJ, Westdale as usual. Appreciate it, guys.
Hang on, just got one more question.
I'm a zookeeper, so we get paid next to nothing.
Oh, but you look after the animals.
But yeah, if you are struggling a bit, mate, send us an email.
info@ryanmoodyfishing.com. We'll see if we can work something out for you.
We'll set up a payment plan kind of thing. I think we mostly do it for the dearer courses, but we can do something there. Yeah.
How long are the courses online for? Well, until we die.
Yep.
Maybe after that.
Maybe
Hopefully.
after that, who knows? Someone might buy it off us.
Probably after that. Yeah. So yeah, we got no intention of closing them down. We're expanding them because people are asking. Yeah.
We're just about to go to the States actually. So.
Yeah, for more. So yeah, until we're in. And where do we go to purchase the Sounder Skills 2 course? Probably easiest is to go to ryanmoodyfishing.com and click on Sounder Courses, and it'll take you to Fish Smarter.
Yeah. And when you are into our courses, if you're ever having trouble, you just go to support@fishsmarter.com.au, and Jeffrey's our guy there that helps you out and sorts out your problems.
He's our guru. We love you, Jeffrey. Right. Ready to go?
I think so.
Ciao.
Thank you, everybody. And you can always email us with further questions.
Yes.
Cheers.